God created the world and it was good. What then explains the presence of evil? Augustine at this stage turns to Platonism for an understanding of the nature of evil. Evil is not a thing in itself. It is rather the absence of good. Now, if anyone has ever said that to you, you will have found that unconvincing, at least in its first iteration. Because we're not just talking about the absence of good as in this bowl of chili is not very good. It's not very flavorful. It's okay, but it's kind of lacking in something. But that's not evil. Evil is not kind of like not particularly good. Evil is much more vivid, gratuitous, cruel, all-encompassing. The Platonists don't deny that. What they mean by saying it's the privation of good is that it is nothingness. Evil is in fact the absence of being and meaning. The reason it produces such spectacular effects as war, oppression, crime, is that people turn away from the good, or they turn away from what is truly good to prefer lower goods. They turn away from the things of the spirit to the things of the flesh. They prefer their own lusts and desires, their own ambitions and greed to the common good or to the immaterial and spiritual good. And it's this turning away from the sun, it's turning away from good, that seems to be a human problem. Human beings, generally speaking, don't understand what they're on earth for, according to the Platonists. Many of you are familiar with the metaphor of the cave from the Republic. This is the classic depiction of this wrong preference. The people in the cave are chained facing the back wall of the cave, and they see images of what's passing in front of the cave reflected on the wall. As time goes on, they come to believe that those images are reality. They forget that they're chained. They forget that they can't see the real things. They forget the sun. If you were to liberate them and turn them around and show them the light, first of all, they couldn't bear it because they're used to the world of shadow. Secondly, they'd kill you because you are destroying their assumptions and their world. They would at least persecute you. They're not interested in the truth, they're interested in getting by. So for the Platonists, evil is the result of this error in perception, assuming that it's a great thing to get rich, or assuming that it's a great thing to beat people up because you're stronger than they are, or it's a great thing to conquer and subjugate, or all of these things, some of which are evil but are really the preference of things that you should not be pursuing, or that you should be pursuing for reasons inspired by spiritual truth. How do you get rid of this? In the Platonist imagination, by education. That's the whole point of Plato's dialogues. That's why they are dialogues, many of them, with a kind of question and answer. They're very didactic. They're like being in a class. Socrates quizzes people, and then he shows the solution, and they say, "Oh, wow, Socrates, now I understand. Now I'm going to be a Platonist, and I'm going to build a perfect society." End of story. The important thing to understand about Platonism is that it is not dualist in the way that Manichaeanism is, or the way that we sort of instinctively think about evil. Evil is not opposed to good. It's hierarchically inferior to good. The Platonist universe is like a ladder with many rungs, going up from mud, bugs, rocks, to the immaterial one. and with many, many steps, as I said, many rungs or steps or levels in between. Human beings are kind of in the middle, and also human beings, unlike animals, mud, slugs, but also unlike angels and demiurges and deities, human beings can move up and down the ladder. That's what free will is. That's what being human is. You can read Hortensius, read the Confessions, fall in love with the liberal arts, and descend to some very high realm of the spirit.